Welcome back. This is Everyone Loves Pirates, and we are doing our Let's Learn, Let's Play of Crusader Kings 2. Last episode, we talked... what did we talk about? We talked mainly about... we had ambitions. The things you have to deal with before you... things you want to deal with before you unpause the game. And we got our heir married. And we're waiting for the response to that marriage request. So if you're interested in how to find a wife, or what ambitions are, you didn't see the video, go back and see that video. But what happened at the very end, what we're starting with now, is our Chancellor has fabricated claim on Kildare. What are claims? Talked about them a little bit, but claims, well, basically let's talk about what land is in this game. A ruler of a piece of land is generally agreed to be that ruler for various reasons. Mostly because, hey, their family owned it way back in the day. They're the rightful ruler. God doesn't think it's, because basically people rule by the grace of God as well. King was chosen divinely. Sometimes people would believe that as well. But mostly it's, do you have a right to own this land? Somewhere in the past, did your family have a claim, have a right to this land? So we look at this dude, Earl Concobar of Kildare. Way back in the day, his family's owned this land for a long time, or they owned it 100 years ago and lost it, and he was able to get it back into the family name. People overall were like, hey, he's the rightful ruler. We're okay with this. He's allowed to rule Kildare. Now, I want Kildare because I'm an expansionist, and I think, hey, I've owned Dublin, but really, I want to own Kildare. It's next to me. It's all part of this duchy, and I want to combine the lands and be the duke of this duchy that owns it, basically. Sorry, I've been talking for a long time. My voice is starting to go, and my brain's starting to go a little bit too. So we can click on Dublin. We can click on the county of Dublin, and we see that it's not part of a duchy right now. But if we click on de jure, this is how I bring de jure into the mix, we see that Dublin is part of a de jure duchy of Tara. What de jure means is that at some point, these lands were combined. At some point, someone says, hey, this makes sense that there is a de jure combination. These two counties would make up this duchy. And it would be the Duchy of Tara. It's not created. We can click on the Duchy of Tara once we click on de jure to see what it would be. And we see that it has not been created. There are no claimants to it. We could create it if we owned 51% of its de jure counties, the counties that naturally belong in this duchy. But since there's only two counties in this duchy, we can only own either 50% or 100%. So we wouldn't be able to create this title. But doing so would get us prestige, and it would cost us gold. Now, the duchy is part of the de jure kingdom of Ireland. Everyone kind of agrees that, hey, yeah, this big island should be a kingdom. These lands are all de jure part of each other. And then this is all de jure part of the Empire of Britannia, which are the British Isles. These chain of islands should all more or less be together, people agree. So why can't I just go over here and take Kildare? I want it. I have part of the duchy. I want to make the duchy. Why can't I have it? Well, people just wouldn't accept that. They just don't like it. You can't just go around taking people's land. I'm not the rightful ruler of Kildare. I have no claim on Kildare. I can look at my character and see I have no claims at all. Should I lose this county somehow, that I currently have, Dublin, I would probably end up with a claim on it, depending on how I lost my county. Because I had it once, and I have a claim to it. But I have no claim on Kildare. And people, if I just went in and took it over, like the entire world would come attack me because that's not right. That's just not what you do. It's not Christian. So we can't do that. But if we had a claim, we could attack Kildare. Well, how do you get a claim? You can marry into a family who has a claim. If I married, let's say he had daughters, which he doesn't, but if I married his daughter would have a claim on this land. I could possibly just put her in charge, but our children could have a claim. So I could breed a claim into the family. The other ways is You're just a devious bastard, and you go around and you say, hey, let's send our chancellor over here, and our chancellor is going to talk to people. They're going to go up to some guy that's kind of high up in the chain. He's going to go, hey, remember when the count over here, the Count of Dublin, Count Earl Murchad of Dublin, remember when his family way back in the day owned Kildare? The guy's gonna be like, no, I don't remember that. It's like, here's a little gold. Now do you remember it? Or, hey, I saw what you were doing with that guy's wife. Now do you remember it? So he's bribing, he's cajoling. Like it says here, he's extorting and threatening and forging documents. He's getting enough people together that are going to say, yeah, fine. The Earl Murchad of Dublin, yeah, he has a right to this land should he want to press it in more. It's not a very nice thing to do because we're just making it up. But it's the only way we can get a claim over here that doesn't involve marriage or just using someone else's claim and trying to get them installed here. And since we're a count and not a duke, we have no vassals, so we can't expand our holdings, our land, our title, our kingdom by pushing other people's claims, because they would just end up with this kingdom and they'd be their own independent count. And no one had a claim to Kildare anyways. We checked. So what happens if we use this? Well, we lose gold. It costs money. He has to pay all those bribes that he was talking about. And we lose prestige, because this is a not good thing to do. This is not a prestigious thing to do. We're a lying, scummy kind of bastard. What is prestige? Well, prestige is basically just how grand we are. We're prestigious. And unfortunately, we're not prestigious at all. We're getting very little prestige, and we only have 20 prestige to start with. Our prestige, as we tooltip over, shows that we have a county. That's giving us a little prestige. We're a count. We have 2 vassals. We reign over 2 people. That's giving us a little prestige. And just by technology, we're getting a little bit of prestige as well. And we'll talk about technology again in a later episode. But right now, what we need to know is that this is sort of a deceitful thing to do. It's going to cost us gold and prestige. We will get a strong claim on Kildare, but that claim is only good if we press it in war. Our children do not get that claim. And the guy that rightfully owns Kildare, Earl Concobar, Chobar, who knows, will not like it because, hey, that's not a nice thing to do. Or we could just let it go and get some piety. That was a nice Christian thing to do. Just, hey, no, you know what? We're not a devious schemer like that. However, we really do want to expand. We want to become a duke. We're going to use this. It's going to put us in negative prestige. Once again, how does prestige affect other people? Our prestige? Well, if we're negative prestige, they'll like us less, basically. And if we're positive prestige, they'll like us more. And what it basically is 100 prestige equals 1 positive opinion point. So if we could get to 100 prestige, everyone in the world would like us 1 more because we're 100 prestigious. And that goes all the way up to 2,000. I think the max you can have is plus 20 from that. So it's a little bit of a currency. It's also an opinion modifier. We can spend it to do bad things. But right now, I am going to use this. I'm going to risk making him mad because we need this. And it's very rare that he manages to get this claim that quickly. If we look at his chances, I mean, what has it been? It's been not even a month yet, and he had an 8% chance per year to get it. Usually you go quite a while before these claims work. So we're going to use it. I'll pause the game real quick. We can look at this guy, look at his opinion of us. Yep, he's furious because we use that claim. He may fabricate a claim on us. One of our other neighbors may do it. I mean, it happens. Deal with it, dude. So, what's going to happen soon is we're going to get the marriage agreement for our son. Here it is. And these windows pop up in reverse order. It's kind of annoying. To the most excellent Earl Murchad, your wisdom and mercy are legendary. I accept your suggestion that Domhnall and O'Dearne get married. What a weird name. Thank you. So, what does that mean to us? We can collect some gold for the wedding. Or we can gain 50 prestige. We can get that prestige back that we just lost, and we're definitely going to do that. Unfortunately, he doesn't get any prestige, and we screwed him over. He has negative 100 prestige for marrying a courtier. Nobody. But since it takes us, we're basically getting half a prestige less per month. So it would take us 100 months to get that 50 prestige on our own in our current state. However, if we mouse over our gold, we're getting 2 gold per month. So we could make that up in about 6 months. So we definitely want the prestige. It is much more valuable. If we really needed money, we could do the money thing. But we don't. So the clock is running. Hooray! We are finally moving. What can we do now? We can attack this guy. Do we want to? We probably won't do it this episode. We might do it next, just because this episode's already been going on a little bit. But let's look at what affects war. I'm going to pause again. We can choose to declare war because we have this claim. And this claim says that if we win the war, based on our claim that we fabricated, we would gain that county, and the current owner, Earl Cockmar, would lose 100 prestige. If we manage to peace out of the war, we realize we can't win, but we were kind of winning, or if we just had some more pressing matters come up and we decided we wanted to make peace, and he agrees, we would lose 100 prestige. We wouldn't lose our claim, but we'd lose 100 prestige for starting a war we couldn't finish. If we lose the war, we lose 150 prestige. We have to pay him 100 gold, which put us in the negative, and we lose that claim we fabricated. So we definitely do not want to lose the war. If the leader of the attacking alliance dies, it says nothing would happen. I'm not 100% sure about that. I believe I would die, and either the war would continue, my son would continue on that war. But, however, if we look at this claim, the claim is not inherited unless pressed in war. So if we never press this claim, our son can't get it. But maybe just going to war is enough to press it and have it go on. So there's a good chance that it could happen. There's a possible interpretation where it doesn't. I can't remember. I tend not to start wars that I can't finish, can't win. So who knows? We'll trust the tooltip and say that the war would continue on. Now, why would we not want to go to war? Well, maybe we can't win. Like we said, we don't want to not win this war. It's very risky. So we can look at our military tab and see how many troops we can get. Our max troops is 972. That's based on our marshal training troops here. He's getting us more troops. That's why we're not at our max. The most we can get right now, the most that are unraised that we can get, would be 839, because he's bumped up our max amount of troops we can have, but they haven't what's the word? They haven't reinforced yet. So we can look at these guys. They're reinforcing slowly. Doesn't say it there, but we can look at we can look here. I think. Nope. Just on the guys themselves, telling us how many we're getting, which is based on there's the levy multiplier. There it is, 42.5% levy multiplier based on our skill, some of our buildings that we have, and the fact that our marshal is down there training troops, plus 32.5%. So that's adding more people to each one of our types of troops. And we'll talk about types of troops later. But he's also reinforcing. So we have to wait for those to fully reinforce up to that 972. From our vassal, since he kind of likes us, we can get, well, it says 46. We can get 46 from him. We can't get any from the bishop there. Well, how many guys can he raise? We need to know the strength of his army, and this is very important. We can click on Kildare, click on his portrait, and look at his realm tree. We can do this for us as well. If we mouse over here, we see his current levy is 853. That's that first line in the second half. The total top levy that he could have would be 1,011. So he's probably training troops as well. So he has a higher max than we do. We currently move. There we go. I forgot our numbers. So we currently have 839. He currently has 853, so he has a little more troops than us, and he has a higher maximum amount of troops. And we can look at his vassals and see how much they're contributing to him as well, and how much just like the strength of their armies against his. Like if he attacked his liege, he'd have 53% of the manpower that his liege has in his own personal holdings if they went to war together. So we can look also at our realm tree and see those same numbers that they match up. Our total top level has to do with our liege levies as well. So if we do 972 plus 46, it's not quite right, but it's close. Once again, I'm a little tired, and I've been playing for a while, but more or less, that's what you get. You see that the 862 number should be right, though. 839 plus... No, that's not quite right either. Anyways, it's more or less close. We can see these guys here, just like the other one. But, yeah. The other thing we have, though, is we do have our father, who would probably join in a war with us. So we can look at him and see how many troops he might be able to give to us. And he might be able to more or less double our troops. His current troops, though, are only 694. We can look at his diplomacy window. He's not in a war right now, which is good. So he would probably join us and be able to give us most of the troops that he could raise. So that's what you want to look at before you go to war. We're at 16 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to start a war right now, but I'm going to let my troop levels recover. I'm going to let my father's troop levels recover as well. And just kind of give it a little time. We can also wait to see if our ambition that we see here, improved diplomacy, if that fires and we get a chance to get better diplomacy, which might help us get more levies from our lieges, or our vassals. We're the liege. But we finally got some time going. We also have this intrigue. We'll talk a little about intrigue because we have a little bit of time left. Excuse me. This is where we can choose to plot. We can click here and just see what plots are available. Well, we can kill our dad, our father, the Earl of Leinster, and we can kill our wife. Well, why do these show up here? Because the game thinks we could benefit, possibly, from being able to do them. If we kill our dad, what would happen? Well, let's look at our dad. We are our dad's heir, which means we will get the the county of Leinster when he dies. So we may want to speed that up a little bit. So we can choose that plot. I have the game paused. We can cancel these plots and re-choose them at any time. And we can see that base power, based on our intrigue, is 17.2%. We could invite people and see, well, would people come? Our brother would come. He'd like to see Dad dead. And he would be able to add 10% to our plot power, get it up to 27.2. These guys wouldn't join. We have a cousin. Who knew? And if you mouse over, it'll tell us why they won't come. If you find someone who's close, you might be able to bribe them into changing their mind. The game will often put like a yellow hand here if it thinks that you might be able to bribe them. But that's not always correct. It may work, it may not. There may be people who you can bribe that the game doesn't tell you about, so on and so forth. But we don't want to kill Dad. We don't have a good enough plot power, and he's pretty old. He'll probably die on his own soon. We also have our wife. Why would we want to kill our wife? Well, based on her stats. Maybe we want a better wife. Maybe she hasn't been giving us any children because she's chaste and her fertility is lower, and we want to kill her because of that. Now, instead of just starting it and trying to see what your plot power is, if it happens to be a plot for death, and there's other types of plot, but if it's a murder plot, you can also go to the person and just murder anybody, plot to murder anybody from here. You don't have to use the one the games choose. And you can just mouse over and see what your plot power is, or what it's probably going to be around. The initial one's 14.2 again. And possible of it being higher? No, it's the same base plot power. Well, a lot of that's because she's our spy master, and it's very difficult to plot against your spy master. But if we looked at data over here, we can see, yeah, there's our brother. So initial plot power, 17.2. The 10% from our brother, 27.4, more or less. There you go. So that's what we can do intrigue-wise. We also have other options. We can invite a holy man to court. Costs us 5 piety. It's just someone new comes to court, a random person that'll probably have decent learning because they're a holy man. We can invite a noble to court. Costs us 5 and 11 gold. And just some random courtier will come to court. Stats could be great. We could get a better spy master. Maybe not. Piety is easier to spend a lot of times than gold, even though ours is pretty low right now. So it's useful as a currency in that way. We could present a debutante, which is a woman would come to court, a grown woman, but probably pretty young, probably like 16, 17, 18, with random skills, random stats. But if we needed to marry somebody and we didn't have anybody in court that we want to marry her to, or marry them to, and we didn't want to go searching for someone somewhere else, we would just bring someone in. I almost never do that. There's very little reason to do that. You can always bring in someone who's awesome from the character finder. We'd hold a feast. Well, we can't, but we can see why. Conditions. Has to be at least November, which it is. Have to have a personal wealth of about 5 gold, which we do. It actually costs more than that because you have to pay for food and stuff. But we don't have enough prestige to hold a feast. We're not worthwhile enough for people to come to our feast. So we need at least 100 prestige to do that. And we can hold a summer fair. Well, we can't, but just because it's not, it's after August. And these are ways to get, we'll talk about them a little more, but the feast is awesome. It's a great way to bump up your diplomacy temporarily and get people to like you quite a bit. It also gives you a little prestige. Summer fair will give you a little prestige. A lot of negative things I feel can happen during the fair. But what these events also can do is they can affect these characteristics, these traits. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but you can lose these traits. You can gain other traits, which is why I really like having a good base score, is because you can't count on these throughout your entire gameplay. So some of them, you can affect them through some of those events, like holding feasts and the fair. But I find the fair has quite a few negative ones. It's a good way to piss off your population, make the peasants unhappy, or to make the peasants happy and piss off your bishop. So, yeah, those are the options that we have. We can also buy and go on a great hunt, which is actually, I like this one. You can't do it if you have a negative health trait, and there's lots of negative health traits that really shouldn't affect whether you can hunt or not. You can still lead armies. But it's after November, so we can't hunt. But this is a good way. It gets us. You can get prestige this way. You can get some good traits through this as well. You can buy indulgence for your sins. Basically, you can gain piety at, for money. It costs quite a bit, but the Pope will just give you some piety for giving him money. There you go. Next time, this episode's over, I think, but next time, because my voice is almost gone, we will go to war, probably. I think. Maybe. Yeah. Sure. But either way, come back. Join us. I look forward to seeing you again.